So here I am in the Whitby, just started cleaning. Before I get any further, I just thought you'd like to see my progress so far. I've been at it for 10 minutes. That's where the engine sat. I've been hand cleaning out by hand, not using any scooper or trowel or anything, and I filled this bucket so far. That's how much crud was laying underneath the engine. I don't know how that could build up so much. An entire bucket full, which is probably carrying 3 gallons of mud now. Boy oh boy. So I'm going to continue on. This project is dirty. Alright, I just thought you'd like to see that. This is just a quick vid of that, and I'll add it to another vid later, and I'll keep you up to date. Alright, bye bye. Part 2 of the cleaning out process. I've pulled the diesel generator out. It looked okay from this side, except for a few rust stains, but the more I looked at it, the more I found wrong with it. All the engine mounts are rotten. They've actually broken away around the edges of these bolts, so we couldn't leave it in with and leave the engine mounts as they were. I also found the some of this here is a vent strap. As you can see, it's totally rotted away, and it goes right around this flywheel inside here. So there's bits and pieces of it in there. Okay. And then I found paint peeling off the sump pan under here. So I don't know how much is just surface rust or flaking rust. I could end up with holes in the sump pan because it's sheet metal. This hose here is rotten exfoliating, and still then I wasn't prepared to pull the engine out. Then I found this, the starter motor, which I couldn't get to from the other, because this is the side that was in the engine room and the other side was up against the wall. And that's when I saw this. This is the starter motor. And as you can see, it's not going to work. It's the entire casing has rotted so much it's expanded, which means it's not only expanded outwards, it's expanded inwards. And you can bet your bottom dollar that does not work anymore. So to get that out, I had to pull the engine out. And there's just rot everywhere. You can see this, you can see layers of rust through here. That's another engine mount here. The back one's the same. So all the engine mounts at the very least had to be replaced. And then I've got layers of rust down here on the sump pan itself. And how long would it be before a hole would poke through there? And this is a fitting that goes actually into the bottom of the sump pan. And as you can see, it's expanded with rust as well and opened up. This whole thing would have to be replaced. So the more I look at it, the more it's like, oh crap. I'm going to try and turn the crank over and see if it turns over, because unlike the Perkins we pulled out, the oil in this one is still oily and good. I mean, it's black, but that's all right. There's no water in it. So it might still be able to turn over. Fingers crossed. But all of this exfoliation on the outside, this cover here is rotting. And I'm starting to think that there's the amount of sweat that there's on the outside, I'm going to find on the inside too, because it's not waterproof. There's gaps through here, through here. It's not airproof. Gap through there, gap through here. So moisture is inside as well. So a bit of a setback, but the generator was always going to be a backup unit for our alternator on the engine, which charges our batteries, and then the solar power, which charges our batteries. As long as we got a good battery bank and our solar power, and if we put a wind generator on, or even a hydro generator mounted to the hull, so that the flow of water will actually charge the batteries, there'll be very few instances where we actually need a generator. Most boats don't have these on board at all, because they don't need them. So doing away with it for now and if we need to, we can get another one down the track. I will certainly consider that. But for now, she's out. I don't have to service it. I don't have to look at it. I don't have to fix it. I will try and turn the crank over and see if it's locked or not, because if it's locked, it's scrap, sadly. But that's just the way it goes. But yeah, so I'm making slow progress. I pulled the most of the air conditioning system out. Air conditioning, let's see, over here in the bin, I've thrown some of the hose work in here. And in the back of my truck, we have more of the air conditioning system. I've pulled out of the engine room, and every time I pull some system out that we're not really going to use, it simplifies, clears the area, makes more room, makes it easier to work in the engine room, and there's a lot less to go wrong, and that's a good thing. So obviously you want some backups of some systems, and I was liking the idea of having this diesel generator in there, but it's not absolutely necessary. So I'm going to let it go for now. Even if it turns over, I'm not going to put it back in the boat. I'll put it as a long-term project, you know, because we'll need to buy new engine mounts. We'll have to get a new starter motor for it. I'm going to have to pull all this apart and just look for corrosion in there and see if the electric it's like a great big electric motor in there that's being powered by the crank of the diesel generator, and it actually generates electricity. I suppose you could call it an oversized alternator, really. But yeah, I'll have to take this cover off. Even this cover has got exfoliating rust eating into the top of the lid. All the wiring's in there. We've got heavy scaly rust on here as well. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be cleaned up on this engine before I would put it back in again. This is an oil pressure switch. I would replace that switch. This pulley, yeah. Anyway, I keep looking at it. All right, that's about it for now. I'll show you the engine room again in the next part, and I'll add it all to the same video. All right, I'll keep you updated. Bye bye. Just another update. As you can see, engine room is a god-awful mess. I've been disconnecting stuff, getting stuff ready to pull out. That archaic looking box unit with a rusted motor on the top and all that is actually the water pump for pumping water to our sinks. So you have water pressure at the sinks from the fresh water tank. That hose, red hose, goes up there, and then it comes out here, goes up there to that sink. Boom, see that one? It may be that there are separate motors to each sink. I'll have to check. This is the one I've found so far. The other pipe I've already removed. It was on the wall here. It had a water catchment, and it also went down into there somewhere. Into here somewhere. No idea where. There's a through hole fitting there, seacock. That is seawater, so that's more likely for the engine. I'm not going to worry about that. I've got to find where the fresh water tank is, find out where the outlet is, and connect it to fresh water. This part here, going here, all the way up to here, that is loose, ready to be thrown out. I've got the battery out from behind all this pipe work here. This pipe work is just hanging in midair. I'm going to change it, have it mount to the wall, get it out of the way. I'm going to fix it all up. That main pipe is the drain right here for the cockpit area. So when it rains and water comes in the cockpit, it drains out through here, down there, along here, and out into a seacock in the next area underneath there, into the ocean. You'll also notice there's another pipe coming from here. That comes from the sink. It does the same thing. And then there's another pipe coming from, I don't know where that one goes. I haven't followed that one yet. So anyway, That's what's going on here. The battery is ready to pull out as well. It's full of water at the moment in that battery box, so I'm going to find a container to pour the water in first before I lift it out, otherwise I'll splash water everywhere in here. As you can see, it's a mucky, dirty mess. So the actual cleaning process really hasn't started yet. I've got to pull all these things out. That archaic box there with a little pump, it's actually on the outside of it. It has a little pulley to pump the pump the pump, which is a very old design, and I'll show you what the new pump looks like. This here, this is the new pump. As you can see, much more compact. Inlet, outlet, this one works. It's a Jabsco. So, Jabsco Max. Pumps 40 psi of pressure. That's plenty. And it's got an automatic switch on it. You just connect it to power, which will be on the wall over there. And it automatically switches on whenever you use the tap. Now, the next thing is that is the refrigerator, compressor motor and condenser and all that crap. And as you can see, it's rotten as well. So I'm in the process of disconnecting and getting ready to pull that whole unit out. We're going to replace that with a new one. And we'll have freezer and refrigerator in the working in the boat eventually. And just another one of those little projects. So yeah, it's been a busy day. The generator's in the back of the truck already. Since we're not going to be having a generator go back in that big area, I want you to have a look at this. From here to there, to that wall there, is halfway. And then again, from there to the back wall is the same distance. So by taking the generator out, I've actually effectively doubled the amount of room in here. So that amount of room, all that room in here, once I've cleaned all that junk out, I'm thinking I might build a little shelving setup. Well, not shelving, but drawers or something like that, for which to put all the engine parts in. Because right now the engine parts are stored inside the, saloon area. And we can open up all that storage space in the saloon for personal stuff rather than engine parts. Not to mention we could put, I could slide in a tool receptacle, tool kit in there and so on and so forth. It's just make a lot better use of the room that we have here. So I'm going to start pulling stuff out, cutting some wires, throwing stuff over the side, clean out some more, and I might do another update in a little while. I'll see if I can get that refrigerator compressor out. There's one bolt right up the back. You probably can't see it with the camera. One bolt has defeated me. And I left my angle grinder at home, so I can't cut it off. We will work it out. Where there's a will, there's a way, right? We'll work it out. All right. That's about all I can show you for now. I'll talk to you again in a little while. Bye-bye. All right, another little update. I pulled some more stuff out. That stuff's gone out of that area there. Pump in the corner's gone. The stuff for the generator's gone. The battery's out. The compressor system I've pulled out. It's in, and look at that great big empty area behind where the compressor was. Goes back about 6 feet, 5 feet, 6 feet, something like that anyway. I think that's the diesel tank. This whole area here I think is the diesel tank. I'm about to go on the deck and check. But we're getting close to a point where I can start vacuuming out before cleaning this. Just a couple more things I want to play with and get them out, like this rusted bracket right here. Take that out and yep, and then the cleaning process can start. Now, I won't be staying on the boat tonight. I cannot get that this unit here. I'm going to take home and try and get it working at home. This is the wireless booster. it's not working here, so if I get it working at home, then I can come back here and make it work here after I learn what the hell I'm doing wrong. Here's the fridge compressor sitting here on the deck. It weighs probably close to 100 pounds. So, oh, and it's, as you can see, the amount of rust and rot coming out. It's pretty bad. Even the this tank here has got rust bubbles bubbling up. Yeah, I just want to put a new one in. Oh, look, it's still, it's annoying, but oh, look at that. It's just falling apart. Shouldn't be able to do that. That should be mounted solidly to that steel base. But the steel base itself is rotten, so as you can probably see, rotten steel base. Anyway, oh, just hit my head on the boom. Crap. I'm getting there. So this is another update. There may be one more before I go home. Let's see how much more work I can get done. Alright, bye-bye.